Welcome back to part 2 of What If Deku was the reincarnation of Charybdis. So, the where we left off, the all of the seals and their crew saw how many sharks or sky sharks that Zuko could produce. Basically, when they saw, and he says, or actually Captain Seal says, wow, you could produce all of them by just using one body? As he says, or as Zuko says, yeah, that's not all I can do. I can also transform into a bigger fish. As he says, well, I really want to see your transformation, Ultimate and Charybdis. I want to see you, Charybdis, too. As he says, okay. As he grew, or he says, as all of them, like he basically, he grew that wings, and he says, be right back, as he flew all the way up into the sky. Then he transformed into a big creature looking thing. As he looks at, or everyone was like, I'm making Charybdis, my version of Charybdis, bigger than every entire, basically bigger than what he is. So he is kind of like that, but way bigger than any boat or longer. As he says, whoa, that's cool. As he says, or as he's laughing, like, oh boy, this is his true power, aren't you? As one of the sharks flew right next to his head and told him there's a boat, suspicious boat in the waters. As he nods his head, or his eye, went up and down. As he says, I can't believe we have the most powerfulest creature in the world. So he flew all the way to where that mysterious boat was at. As some of the creatures, where is it? Sorry if it was the ones that are basically him. He looked at, what's going on here? As he looks up and sees one big monster that's bigger than him. As he's like, oh, crud. We surrender. As they were like, okay, we surrender too. So then, so that's why, and they're like, ha ha ha, we can't believe. As then when he went back to his human form, like after they turned them in, as he like transformed back into a human and says, that's my ultimate form. As he says, I can't believe that we saw Charybdis' true power. Heck yeah. Thank goodness he's on our side, boy. As they're like laughing and having a good time. As Zuko says, who's hungry? As we are. It's a lot of work to put in the shark, or put in as as one of the sharks offers its like. So Zuko always carries his safety knife thing, or katana. So he basically Chick-fil-A as they were basically they ate so good that it was pretty scares them sometimes. But the only reason why is because and the Nomus were like they all got taken care of by both of them, because the Endeavors is like being are trying to, but ends up getting beat by both of them. So then she got the drinks for all of them, and Zuko just cut shark's meat thing, and ends up cooking it the right way, like appropriate way. And there was a lot of food to feed an entire army. They couldn't believe that he has that much power, and he's had that. So they were like, Sally, or like the next day they said, that was pretty good, Zuko, with all that fish. As he says, do you have storage for it? Well, yeah. One of the crewmates says, it's like, as they ate good for 2 years, or no, 4 years, with proper spices and all that stuff. So they're like, so he grew like those kinds of wings and flew right back at UA, as it was news reporters personally, his sisters were getting blocked by those news reporters. So he's like, I may take care of them. As he used his own shark ability to spook them. Like, as they all like run away. Mr. Azal was like, really? Hey, don't worry. That was only to spook them. I see my little brothers, or our little brothers, getting more hanged into the charybdis. As everybody's like, okay. So then, when Toga heard that these sharks, sky sharks, are in town, she wanted to see who's behind it. So does All for One. Because he's heard that charybdis is the most powerfulest creature of the entire world. So basically, yeah. So the next day, or like, now it's a camp arc thing. Of course, they so Zuko, who's was at a camp thing, and he says, well, as they flew over, and can I use my, like, weaker form? Sure. As he transformed into that. Or actually, into that more accurate term. As they got onto his back. As they flew off. Oh. Like, this is cool, Zuko. As the entire class 1A says, this is cool. Having a monster on that allows us to go on his back and flying around is pretty cool. As everybody flew all the way to there, and he landed, and he also transformed back into a human, as he asked Todoroki if that's okay for him to use his fire quirk to cook up some shark meat. As Todoroki says, sure. Or nah, he says no. As he says, okay, have it your way. As he used his own power to conjure up a shark. And he used his own katana and made a clean slice through, like, what they did in that one scene. Spoilers, son. So, and he used his own, like, you know how, like, some people use their hands to, but Zuko went so fast, he caused a fire in his own hand and, like, went right in. It unharms him. So he basically used his own flame to cook the meat, as his own sisters are, like, surprised that he could just need a little bit of spice and flip them over. And of course, Suyu, or whatever her name is, the frog girl, or Toad, or her, she says, I can't wait, as she's jumping. As everybody's, like, confused, like, why are you jumping so excitedly? As she says, you never had his cooking? It's amazing. As he basically, his his spice thing, then open the flame, he spins it around, and he, like, does all that stuff. And when they saw, like, how good his chef skills are, as it was already done. And Mr. Aizawa said, or told them to train to work up the appetite. As Koda, his parents, were even smelling the food. So they all, like, Pussycat and them, so they, like, basically, it was done right after, as they, first come, first serve, as everybody, or Suyu came up, tried their food, and he had, like, the most adorablest face. So much, kind of like what she is. She couldn't believe her. As then everybody came along, and they were like, I mean, enough here to feed the entire world if I have an unlimited supply, because of my body. Or copy body, more accurate term. So, hurry. So Momo tried it, and she flippin' loved it. So did Jiro, so did, where is he? So did Visible Girl, Mina, like, all of them loved his cooking. Even Eraserhead, like, Zuko, how did you know how to cook that proper way? Like, it's perfect for each bite. As he says, well, I learned stuff from experience, so I do it. So there was a lot of leftovers. Like, there was nothing left. As the next day, Class 1B shows up, and the students, Class A, were training, except for Zuko. Because one of the, let me say, both of them walked up to Zuko and told them, can you make some for all of us to enjoy too? As he says, sure. As he says, just give me a couple minutes. As because one of the wildcats knew how delicious his is. So he used his own body, like copy body thing, and made so much for Class 1A, 1B, Wildcats, Wildcats, and Koda's parents and him. Basically, so he used his own, like, scales as he, like, plucked one out of his own body, and it turned into a knife as he sliced it open, like, kind of like what it did. Man. It was fantastic. Basically, they need a little bit of spice, so as grab some ingredients and put it on and like cooked it all like when they all like trained. Plus, Muriel and rest of them showed up before. And when they saw, or like, only him, he saw what Zuko's cooking. He like, that's interesting, Zuko. As he says, yeah. Plus, Mirio says, so, as he told Zuko that, is this kind of, are you taking the fish out of the water? As Zuko looks at him saying, no, it's actually thanks to my copy body thing, like copying a person's body, honey. I can basically turn them into a shark. Okay? It's unless, so there's no like real sharks being eaten, so they're safe. As they also made a lot, or he made a lot. So they all tried his food, and they ended up not getting sick, but they ended up, it was so scrumptious. As his own sister says, good job, little brother. how did you end up cooking with the entire army? Literally. As Momo and Ochako saw as only person that really didn't like him was actually Mirio, or whatever that guy is. He, or Monoma, huh? That's what I. So he says, you're, or he walked up and he says, you're a Class 1A student, aren't you? Yes, and you must be in Class 1B, aren't you? As only people that really knew. So he, or they, loved his cooking. He says, I don't like or because you're Class 1A. And so only people that, or actually, she whacked Monoma in the head, or behind the neck, because she knew that what he was gonna say, that he didn't like his food because he's in Class 1A. As because one of the wildcats actually, or every single one of them, loved his food. They couldn't believe that his food tasted like the eating onions. So then they start training before. And Bakugo is like, huh, how did you know how to cook before? Don't get me wrong, but I like your cooking. And, well, I didn't know how to cook before. As so, then one day they got attacked, or at night they got attacked by a villain, such as Musclier and Toga, but he's forgetting, or actually Zuko forgot one person, himself, as he cut a small piece. When I take that back. Not small piece. Sorry. The big piece, like that size. As the entire forest could smell it. As Musclier is he's smelling it. So does Toga and Dobby. So all of them went back and saw who's cooking it. As Toga fell in love with Zuko. But she or he actually knows. So they are only person that really, or actually he turned and looked at Dobby, or not Dobby, but he turned around and tried to sit down to eat, as Dobby says, "Is there any for us?" As he lifts his head up and says, "Don't worry, there's plenty." As so they like him, Musclear, Toga, Moonfish, and Mustard, and the others villains went and joined him. Instead of attacking, they just joined him like, okay. They weren't like, okay. As he asked them, "Did you never had shark meat?" He, as they, he, as only person that says no, none of us was actually Muscular, because he could smell it. So Koda's his parents and him are all safe. As he says, "Oh, do you want do you want a head, Bowie?" As he took a, like, do you see that top piece, the one that like his top head? Musclier, or actually, Zuku asked Moonfish if that's okay with him to use his teeth, one of his teeth, to actually slice it. And Moonfish walks with Zuku and ends up cutting that shark's head. And here we go. As they were pretty happy about that. They couldn't believe that the student hero is being nice to everybody. As he says, "You know why I'm called Ultimate, or you know why my hero name is Ultimate Charybdis?" As Musclier heard about Charybdis that how it destroys everything in its path, but the Ultimate, he never heard of that. So as compressed, like, thing, he does something really, like, if you want that, go ahead. I always could make more for them. As Mr. compresses all that shark meat down into like a ball, like a marble. And then Zuko, so they kidnap Zuko as she says, okay, 1, 2, 3, 17, 18. Okay. Wait, where's my brother? On there. Or where's our brother? As she says, he was back at camp before. He went back to grab bite to eat before. Forgot about himself. So, that's the last thing I heard from him. And then when they got back, he was gone. Like someone, and like she knew that Zuko wasn't lying about, forgot about himself. And so they were like, okay, where in the heck is our brother? As a clone of Dobby says, oh, he's back at our base already. So I hope that you will enjoy. As then all that happened, and then Zuko, who went face to face with All for One, and says, hello, Zuko, or should I say Charybdis? Huh? Don't worry about your power. And his dumb luck. He used his own power before. And the shirt came out and went and attacked and broke the chains off. As he says, you know what's one thing that makes us different? What would that be? Well, I'm a man, or I'm a creature of sky, or king of sky. You're just a man with or quirks less, or your low life thing. As he becomes like that, even bigger, as everybody in Japan saw what his form looked like, as All Might sees him, as they're like, yep, he's dead. As Omega Beam Shot, boom, as he destroyed the he did basically destroyed All for One right out of existence. As he just swims, like he flies around. Like that's what he did. Like, Mega Beam Cannon! Boom. With his scales flying off and chopping up the Nomus. Sorry. And basically doing all that. As Hazuku Ling was tired out. So he basically transformed back, and he ended up turning into like that. And skipping all the way to Overhaul. And of course, before, Toga always still loved him because of his cooking, and so she basically, she couldn't believe that her her boyfriend's is cooking. So then now Ochako, before, finally confesses to Deku, like in his bedroom, told him that she wanted to get married to him, as he says sure, as he sticks his thumb up, and so they are like, okay, because Ochako's, Araka's parents said to her, you should get married to Zuko. You have our support. So then Ingo, she got told by Ochako's parents if that's okay with her, if their daughter gets married to her son. She said as yes, it's perfectly fine. As so the next day, or right after the All for One incident thing, Seal, or actually not Seal, she went and asked Zuko if, can you cut us up some shark meat thing? He says sure, as he cuts it up, does a perfect mount again, and she basically, they all like, as only person that really finds him like cool is Dobby. So basically Dobby, or this is a weird ship thing. So let's get the calmness out. So Zuko got married to Ochako and Toga because Toga, his parents asked the same thing. And that's okay. So that was only half. Like, or that was only one. So their daughter, or actually Inko's daughter, she ends up getting married to no. It's, let me think about that. Basically, let's do her. She got married to Dobby, and Dobby treats her nice. And of course, I just thought about it. It was, of course, one, the only Bakugo. So now the overhaul fight thing. Zuko basically knew where he's at, so and all that, and of course him and Mirio, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Mirio, they both run into a wall together as partners in crime, as they both like, okay, now as then Overhaul transformed into a monster and came to the surface thing, and Shizuku says, who knew, or how does that saying go? I can play that game. As he became the Sky King monster, Charybdis, and ends up sending sharks, his own scales, beam attacks. He was not letting up just for a second, as he was basically, okay, done, shark. Of course, but before, Zuko, who, or when before the overhaul transformed into a big monster, his sister showed up before, as she was so mad because her brother got hit in the head so hard. So she basically beats so he or so she basically beats Overhaul to almost nothing left. In the monster form, then he became and as an overhaul fight scene was done and Ares got saved and all that stuff. So then, so both Ochako and Toga had 2 children per, like, for both of them. That makes it 4. So one was for Ochako, was her. She had a fire quirk. And for Toga was her, and then for of course now it's Dobby and her. She end up or they had a kid, like Android 18. So she ends up, she has her mother's telekinesis and her father's, like, blue flames. That's what I call it. And their her or their sister, or actually, I meant her. So, and Dobby, and then that girl got married to who? Actually, to, or it was like similar date. Of course, it was actually Todoroki. Okay. So Todoroki got married to her and Momo. So, and they had similar as Deku, but one of them was and similar to Android 17 and her. So basically, and sometimes I know this is a weird enemy thing, but I'm gonna add in some more weirdness. And Inko, well, of course, her husband was the same cult thing, but she also got married to Stars and Stripes. So basically, the Horikoshi, or whatever, or Inko's husband, had two wives. That's why, not the sick part of it, like Inko got married to Stars and Stripes. That would have been a sick version. But I'm not that. Man, I'm more of the calm, collective kind. Okay? So, let's. And plus, Stars and Stripes had a hint. This would be Zuko's other sister. So, all of that's going on. They're having drinks at Starbucks, and they're like doing all that stuff. And Muriel, who got married to that blue-haired girl, and her kid, and was a like Super Saiyan, had similar yellow hair to his father, and but he had, or they had blue eyes, or he had blue eyes, just like her, just like his mother. and has living laser as his quirk, because he could go through walls, he could shoot lasers out of his hand. And when I said this what if is not gonna be like super wacky one, like inappropriate one, because one, it already is too wacky, because one, Bakugo, I'm not making Bakugo's mother like having her naughty stuff to Zuko. Not that kind. So, that's why he so have fun. Don't die, and please leave a like, share, subscribe. And before I go, tomorrow, I was thinking about doing the What If Generator Rex meets Winx Club, or do another What If, but this time make Toga and Deku Link get married. What if? Because but some of these things are, I had to role play them before I make videos of them. So that's why. So have fun, don't die, and see you guys later. So, but hold on. Before we go, there's Midnight is battling against, or during all of that, Midnight was battling against Do/S from One Piece, or One Punch Man, and but of course she got defeated. Not Midnight, her got defeated. And so, have a great day.